Good morning, everyone. Dan Bates, President and CEO of the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and we are happy you could join us today for coffee and conversation. We're going to get started here in just a minute, but if you're their first time, let me tell you how it works. We are on a Zoom meeting, so I'm sure our presenter will not mind if you interrupt him with questions or put them in the chat box, and he'll answer them. We also have a large audience on Facebook Live. So if you are on Facebook Live and you want to ask questions, type them into Laura and she will repeat them so Gary can answer them. So you know who I am, and we're going to find out who all of you are. So I'm going to turn it over to Gino, our Director of Membership Relations, to do self-introductions.
Gino, you're muted.
He is muted.
That always helps, doesn't it?
Yep.
Anyway, thank you, Dan. I am Gino McGowan, the Director of Member Relations over here at the Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I will go around on my screen and I will save our presenter to the last one. I'll start with my buddy, Sandy. Welcome, Sandy.
Good morning, Gino. Sandy Pesnoff, Frank's class.
And I guess I should have said, yeah, when I call your name, you can introduce yourself, say a couple things, just let everybody know who you are. Hi, Dan.
Yeah, again, everybody. Dan Swarmstead with Hub Paran. I'm an account executive here. We focus on employee benefits.
Great. Thank you so much for attending. Mr. McCall, Focus Consulting, welcome. You got us on mute, though.
You're muted, Ben.
We always, no matter how well we're good at technology, we're always bad at technology. Focus Consulting, leadership development, human resources strategy in the Butler County area. So Benjamin McCall, nice to meet everybody.
Great. Thank you so much. Tracy Stivers, good morning.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Stivers. I'm the Director of Community Relations for BCW Workforce, which oversees and is a leader in workforce development in the region. A little more specifically, we oversee the policy and the funding for the Ohio Means Job Centers and collaborate to achieve a common goal, which is to see people discover meaningful work and a path to a better life, and to help businesses grow and thrive and succeed and create a vibrant economy in the region. I would be remiss if I didn't give a shameless plug to the Workforce Solutions Forum that we'll be having at Miami University's Voice of America location on September 29th. And if you'll follow me on LinkedIn, as information comes out, I will be pumping that out and we would love to share that with you.
Thank you. I'm so impressed with your quick speech because you change up every week. But then
I try.
You still hit all the high points. So I am super impressed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. Mr. Zach Bohannon, we have you, please.
Good morning, everyone. Zach Bohannon, Butler County Senior Field Representative for Congressman Warren Davidson.
Okay, is that everyone now?
That is everyone, with the exception of Laura. Everybody knows Laura Mera. Wave, Laura. Okay, so now you want to introduce the presenter, Dan, or do you want me to?
I'd be glad to. I met with George Bowman, I don't know, it was several weeks ago, and we were very impressed with what they do. He works with Butler Behavioral Health, and he's going to be talking today about workplace associates. I'm going to turn it over to you, George, to tell us all about the exciting work that you guys do.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to so many great people in our area here. What we do here at Workplace Associates is we find people with disabilities employment. So we assist them with vocational services. So that could be anywhere from career resume building, interview prep. We will do career exploration. We even have relationships with some of the local school districts. We have worked with Lakota East and West, Hamilton. We have worked with Fairfield. We kind of go all over the place. So I've also worked with some people in Warren County and school districts over there, and Middletown as well. So what we do in the schools is we try to prepare students for a career path. Typically, it's students with disabilities that don't know where to start. And this could be anywhere from, generalized anxiety to, severe or profound disabilities. It just kind of depends. What we do is we work with Ohio Means Jobs. They have a very good website that we kind of work through, create them accounts, build resumes, do interest surveys, stuff like that through there. And then they can kind of move on, find out what they want to do later down the line. But what I'm here to talk to you guys about today is our workplace program in the sense of for more of the job seeking individuals. What they are looking for is work in the regular world. We have a lot of candidates who come in here and, instantly get kind of written off because either their disability is very, outwardly presenting and instantly get dismissed, or, they don't know where to start and they have additional supports like a job coach that comes to interviews and stuff like that. So what we are looking to do is to get our name out there and let people know what services we provide. That way, when we do come to an interview with somebody, or if you receive a phone call from a job coach, that you kind of know what we represent. So our mission here is to be the first choice for caring, comprehensive, and well-coordinated behavioral healthcare services. So not only do we work with, employment, we also have therapists on staff. We have a crisis team that actually works in Butler and Warren County, and I think we just started working in Clinton County. So we have a net that's starting to get a little bit broader. We do provide services for people in Hamilton, Butler, Clinton, Warren, Montgomery, anywhere that's within about an hour and a half drive. That way, if they need any employment assistance, we can help them. So right now we're in our summer youth program. And what that is, it's students with disabilities that are trying to figure out what they want to do. Right now, we work with Tractor Supply, Bargain Hunt, Gabe's, Gabriel Brothers, Puppy Life, which is like a dog bone manufacturer. I'm trying to think. I think that's about it right now. But what they do is it'll be usually around 4 to 5 kids that work with one job coach, and they do job tasks just like everybody else does, prepping food. Oh, Eli's, that's another one I forgot, sorry. Eli's Sports Bar is a very good supporter of our program. We've been working there for a good amount of time there, and they're fantastic. So they'll prep food, clean tables. At the Dog's Life area, what they do is they, make the dog bone dough, put it in molds, bake it, all that stuff, package it, put it out I think right now we're at Moeller Brew Barn is where we have a lot of our product going, and they sell it out of there. So just kind of get a very good variety of job tasks out there. I recently was able to coordinate with Hamilton Hugs, and we're trying to figure out how we can work with them next year to be able to have a landscaping gardening kind of approach. That way the kids that like to, work outside have a place to go. So what we're trying to do is get more involvement in our local community. As I said, the places that we have right now are pretty big companies, Gabriel Brothers, Bargain Hunt, Tractor Supply, they're all big companies. But the hardest place that we can get into is our local businesses. What we offer when we come to these places are, it's free labor and it's good optics for the community. So we also they're insured through us, they're paid through us, everything for this short period of time. So the summer youth usually lasts, it's 2 sessions, about 6 to 8 weeks. And then another crop of kids comes in, we get more people to work there. Along with summer youth, we also do these things called community-based assessments. These can be taken or can be done at any community workplace. All it is a place for us to do job tasks to see if a person is ready to work or ready for reentry. I've done these at the Warren County the pet shelter over there, and Paws. We've done stuff over there. We have also done it at Tractor Supply. I've also done it at Bargain Hunt. Same thing. It's about 2 weeks, a week of work with a person. They get a job coach, and it's just to see if they're ready to work. And some of the impact that these people have in the community is great. I just recently had an individual who did some job shadowing at a CBA at a local business, and they probably wouldn't have gotten that opportunity without it. And now they're hired and they're working full-time there. So it just allows us to allows the narrative to be, hey, they're just like everybody else. They can do the same work. You just need the opportunity. So what we also offer is job coaching. And what that is if you hire somebody that is through our program, they come with a job coach. There's multiple ways that the job coaching can be done. It can be one-to-one where, I'm sitting with this person as they're getting trained and I'm getting trained with them. And what it causes is an additional support beyond just the employer. That way, if they do ask additional questions, it gives them the extra supports to be able to be successful in the employment. Another part of job coaching is when they start doing well, we start to fade off a little bit to see how they do. Typically, we'll start, instead of working every shift with them, maybe we work every other shift. And then when we come in, we check with them and see, hey, how did they do last shift? That way, if there's stuff that we can job coach on when we're there, we can do it. Usually we transition and it ends up being to a individual full-time employment. So we also provide vocational case management here as well, which if you have a person with a disability, you can refer them to BBHS, which we have offices in Hamilton on University Boulevard, Middletown, and on Manchester Avenue. And we have an office in Lebanon on Cook Road by the government buildings there. And they come in, we can build them a resume and job coach them for interviews. It's more offhand, like it's more behind the scenes. We don't go to them, the job site for those cases, because those people really don't need it. What it is, it's more just trying to build confidence in that individual for them to re-enter the workforce. So that's pretty much kind of what Workplace does. Any person that is interested in wanting to be a job site for any of these community-based assessments, summer youth, or even open into hiring people with disabilities, they can all reach out to our Workplace program. And all of our information is on our website at bbhs.org to be able to contact us through there. I will also put my information in the chat as well. So if there's any questions or anything afterwards, that somebody's interested in being a site or wants to get some more information on what we do, they can reach out to me and we can talk from there.
Gary, I have a question. So, for you, this is day-to-day work, but for an employer who's never, employed maybe a little bit more non-traditional workforce, can you talk about how you alleviate any concerns, fears, what that process looks like, from the time somebody reaches out to you till you place someone, and what kind of support you give once they're in the workplace?
Sure. So if it's job coaching, it's all about communication and community building. So what I'm all about is I'm accessible. I usually try to answer texts, phone calls, emails within 24 to 48 hours. And if there's any concerns with an individual that is hired and needs additional training, like there's times where I've worked with somebody one-to-one and then I've started to fade and they've been independent for like 2-3 weeks, but they're still kind of on our caseload until they're completely they're on our register usually for about 90 days after stable date. So we'll mark somebody stable after we start fading job coaching. Once they're stable, then we have 30, 60, and 90 days. Usually it goes out to 90 days. So if something happens and they need additional training ASAP, we work out our schedule, we'll be in there and we will assist in the job coaching. And that would be like a one-to-one situation. If it was something to where it was more behind the scenes, then the employer would let us know. We set up a meeting with the employee, either in person on a phone call, or we would go to the job site and kind of talk to them about some of the issues that they're having and how we can alleviate that. Sometimes that's through job splintering. I've had an individual recently who was getting overwhelmed with all the job tasks that they were doing. So what I did was I talked to the employer and I said, hey, is there a way we can splinter this part of the job that they do very, very well at and kind of work with other employees to kind of fracture up all the other parts that they're not good at. And now that person is completely successful, marked stable. I think they're on their 60th day now. So we try to find ways for the employer and the individual to work together, and sometimes it doesn't work. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just where we'll try to find something that works better. But I would say most of the time we get to some common ground and find a way to support each other. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Do you also, so when somebody shows up on day one, I assume that they show up with a coach or somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how often is that coach are they with them for a period of time on the job site or?
Yes.
Okay.
So if somebody's like a new hire and they need side-by-side coaching, usually my timeline is like I'll work like the first 2 weeks with them exclusively what their job shift is.
Okay.
After that, we kind of have a meeting, probably like whatever that last shift is in that second week with the manager and the employee and me. And we'll go, hey, how do we feel this person is doing?
Okay.
If they're being successful, and because by that time I'm going to start fading my prompts, I'm going to start fading my assistants. So we're going to see where they lie in, the job tasks. If they start doing very well and don't need me much, that's where we might cut our 8-hour day to a 4-hour day. So, if I was attending 3 shifts at 8 hours through a week, I'll end up attending 3 shifts at 4 hours. And maybe I won't be on their hip while they're coaching or while they're working. Maybe I'll be on site to where I'm accessible. It's just, being available for those people.
Okay.
After we do that, probably for about a week or two, if nothing's going on, if they're doing a great job, then I might fade it to where I'm going to be there once a week for a couple hours for whatever shift they have. And then same deal, I'll be on site, not necessarily hit by hit, but checking in on them from time to time to make sure that the tasks are getting done, checking in with the employer, making sure the employer is comfortable with what they're doing. And again, if they keep doing well, then we'll fade a little bit more into where maybe I check in once every 2 weeks. And then it just keeps going on from there.
You provide transportation?
We do not provide transportation. Usually our people get transportation through OOD if they don't have it. Not OOD, but Butler Board of DD. Sorry, I apologize. Butler Board of DD, if they have vouchers to where they can get transportation either through our transit system, UTS, or sometimes they get like Uber cards to where they can get back and forth to work. we actually I actually have a surprising amount of people that actually drive themselves. So that's kind of nice. So sometimes we'll help them with like gas costs, give them a gas card, stuff like that. So it just kind of depends. Every person's different, every situation's different. So we just try to have different options.
I'm curious, do you offer any other supportive services? Like maybe if they need some kind of accommodation, do you fund that for the employer?
That again would fall onto OOD or DD. Now you would tell us, and then we would tell the governing body. So I would reach out to their counselor. I would say, hey, so I had an individual a while back that worked at a restaurant, and they needed a brace for like standing long periods of time. So what I did, they told me, the client told me, and I reached out to the case manager. Case manager put in the paperwork. A few weeks later, they had their brace. They were on job site, ready to go. So
I have a question. What skill level, like we have very specific jobs like with glass cutting and stuff. Do you put them into that type of environment? Do they have those type of skills?
Yeah, I've worked with people that are dishwashers at Texas Roadhouse to people that are directors and CEOs of programs around in this area. So it is again, it's a spectrum. So I have some very high functioning individuals that I could put them anywhere and I feel very comfortable with it. It might be like due to their anxiety or something of that nature to where they need some additional coaching just to handle high pressure situations from time to time. Not necessarily like the fine motor skills issues or anything that you would associate to more like severe or profound. So again, it's just a spectrum. I've had, so many different jobs that I've done at this rate. It could be anything.
Very significantly. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And
So
usually, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do you and Tracy work together, or is this a learning experience for both of you?
So I've never met him. It's nice to meet you. But OOD is one of our partners that we have in-house, which is why I was asking that question. I just was looking for one more avenue to pay for the accommodations that we sometimes help clients with.
Yeah. I'm trying to put my information in here. So yeah, when you said you worked with Ohio Means Jobs, I was like, okay, maybe she kind of knows who we are.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a really good relationship with OOD, and all the counselors there are fantastic. So we have a really good rapport, and I think it really helps our clients here when they come here looking for assistance. It's the ability that we have to be able to talk to everybody and have that solid line of communication as one of our strengths, I feel like.
Any other questions? So Zach, I'm going to put you on the spot from the Congressman's office. I know the Congressman is very interested in, workforce issues and, are you guys actively as an office working, with a non-traditional worker as far as, some emotional or physical challenges?
That's a great question. I think we're always open to working with organizations that work with individuals that have those challenges because we are concerned about the workforce and our economy and our businesses flourishing, but also people flourishing as well, in finding the roles that best suit their passions and their skills. So we're always open to being creative in some of those ways. I attend a lot of seems like the meetings that I've attended personally as the field rep over the last 2 to 3 years have been more in that realm that you referenced, Dan. More of the of those kind of hiring practices and things, and meeting with as well as social service organizations that serve their clients that have specific challenges. So those meetings, it seems, at least on my calendar, have been have seen an uptick in the last 2 to 3 years. So yeah, it's definitely something that we're tracking and we're open to.
Maybe one of the congressman's visits to this area, we could have him have Gary give him host a tour.
That would be great. Yes, I will drop my my contact information in the chat box here in just a moment, and that would be great. We'll look for sometime down the road, the next couple, 2-3 months. That would be great to have in our toolkit for when he comes back for prolonged visits.
And I want to kind of add a little bit to kind of what Sandy's question was earlier about job preparedness and when these people like apply for positions. Usually what we do before we even have them apply to a position is, you know, they have to be able to show that they can do that job. So if I have a person that comes in here and they say, I want to work at, you know, I don't know, if they want to do plumbing, I'll be like, have you ever done that? Have you ever done anything similar to that? Have you ever, you know, if there's no like support there that shows that they've done that, then we won't try to apply to that, you know, and that's where we kind of figure out and we work out what our skills are. And when we do apply to places, when we go to these interviews, I can actually advocate for that person. I'm not going to have somebody come to a job site that I feel cannot do it. We usually try to ask all the difficult questions. We try to, you know, talk to all their supports that they've had in the past, either through school, vocational programs, parents, grandparents, cousins, whoever they have relationships with, just to see what their work values are and how they can translate into the real world. So if you see one of us come in, because I think one of the things that we struggle with is when we come into a job site for an interview, sometimes we're written off instantly because of, you know, outwardly appearing disabilities, but they don't even ask the question sometimes, you know, and I think that's where we're trying to, you know, break the stigma a little bit and the negative associations with disabilities. Yeah, I might have a disability, but doesn't mean I can't do the same work.
So Gary, I have questions about your summer program. So you were talking about that's free labor for employers. Does that have to be X number of days per week? Can it be just on certain days where employers need the extra help, or how does that work?
Well, typically it's Monday through Thursday. We usually try to work between 9 to 4, 9 to 3 is the times. So typically we find ourselves either doing like opening tasks, stocking tasks, janitorial tasks at this moment. I'm trying to get more involvement in different fields. I would love to get into more food service oriented stuff. I would love to get into a little bit more of manufacturing if possible. You know, we're just trying to get more tasks out there to get a little bit broader experiences. Usually it's between 9 to 4. You're looking at 6 to 8 weeks. It kind of depends how school falls, what holidays fall on. But it's usually that about amount of that time period. And it's usually over the summer. So that's just the summer youth experience only.
Okay. Maybe, have you talked to anybody from the HaHa group here in Hamilton? HaHa is the Hamilton Amusement and Hospitality Association.
I have not.
Okay.
I'm new to this role. I've just started here. This is actually like my second week in the role. The person before me was trying to rebuild a lot of relationships that we lost during COVID. Okay. We had a lot of we actually had a lot of employers in the area that were involved pre-COVID, and we lost a lot of that because as everybody knows, you know, a lot of the people in our population are, you know, immunocompromised, and it really hit us hard, and we're kind of picking up the pieces from the COVID era time. So I'm kind of hitting it again, trying to get more opportunities out there.
Well, the chamber also hosts that group. So it's the restaurants, bars, and hotels, anybody who does events.
No,
All that is all part of that group.
I'd definitely be interested in something like that, not just for summer youth, but for community-based assessment stuff. Because if that's just typical setting up, breaking down, holding booths, we have people that want to do that kind of stuff. We just don't have the people that are willing to let us do it. That's the thing.
Cool.
Does anybody else have questions?
I'll be very selfish. Maybe we should talk offline about Alexander's.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And George, if you'd like to articulate your contact information, that would be great.
Yeah, so I'm George Bowman. I'm Workplace Associates Program Manager here at BBHS, Butler Behavioral Health Services. My email is gbowman@bbhs.org. My cell phone, which is a company phone, so don't feel like you're bothering me, is 513-338-6478. And I'm accessible through text, email. Give me a phone call. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. So you'll definitely get faster responses through text. I'll tell you that.
So any other questions? Okay, if not, I guess we're going to wrap this up. Our next coffee and conversation is about the employee retention credit. And probably a lot of you are going to roll your eyes and say, we know all about this, but you probably don't. There is still money left in that fund. There's going to be money left probably for the next year. So if you have not ever looked into, payroll tax credit coming off of COVID-19, you might want to do that because a lot of people are finding that they qualify when they didn't think they would. So that's going to be our next conversation. And so you'll have to join us on, what is that, July 11th, Laura? I think it is July 11th. And we'll be hearing about that. So with that being said, I think that's it for today. I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you, George, for very informative presentation. And you guys all have a wonderful Tuesday. So
thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you for the
you too.
opportunity.
bye.